Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Rustin, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And we are always so thankful for the Ooltewah Club. They do such a great job. Love the course, love the food and the atmosphere. It's just a great place. So strongly recommend you check them out. Email them and tell them that the Vol Bros are how you heard about it. We'd appreciate that. So that they keep being our sponsor for years and years to come. We certainly enjoy them. So, not a fun week for Tennessee athletics, to be totally honest. That it is, news tonight that football signee got his fifth star defensive lineman, so that's cool. Good for him. That's exciting. We're here to talk about basketball. In my opinion, it's pretty simple. Both teams, what's the issue? But Rustin, what were your takeaways? We'll go chronologically like we always do. What were your takeaways from the women's game against South Carolina?
It's pretty blunt. You can't go 3 of 26 from the 3-point line. That'll be a recurring theme in the men's game as well. It's kind of wild. If you look at every other stat from the women's game, it was either equal or in Tennessee's favor, almost completely down the line. The biggest difference was, did you realize South Carolina only shot 12 free throws and we made 14?
Wow.
Everything was in our favor. The calls were in our favor. You just can't, especially at home, you can't go 3 of 26 from the 3-point line. And I'm honestly, I don't know what the solution is for that. Like you've got to hit those shots. A lot of those were open. You hang your hat on living and dying by volume threes and offensive putbacks. You got to hit some of them. It can't just be all offensive putbacks.
If you live and die by it, there will be times when you die by it, and they died. So my thoughts about the Lady Vols game Monday night, it was fascinating.
We had one other thing because I think this stands out. We missed 23 threes. We only had 11 second chance points. So that means we weren't getting a whole lot of offensive rebounds and putbacks. And that was probably the difference in the game.
You said we missed 23?
23.
So if it's 11 second chance points, it's essentially 6 shots. You got 5, 2-point layups and maybe a foul and one, you make 1 free throw. So 6 shots. So 6 out of 23 times we got an offensive rebound and put it back up.
And that's not to mention, that's just the threes we missed. That's not to mention the, all total, we missed 52 shots. So I don't know how you only get 11 second chance points when you miss 52 shots.
So 52, and you get 6 shots that go in after that, or you get fouled on one and make 1 free throw. So 52, you miss 52. You have 52 opportunities, and you only get 6.
Yep.
Not a great recipe for success.
Nope.
So here's my take on that game. It was fascinating in that the first 8.5 minutes of the game, not only did Tennessee look like they could hang with them, Tennessee looked like the better team. The first 8.5 minutes, they were putting on a show. And
same thing for the fourth quarter. We beat them by 11 in the fourth quarter.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. So the first 8.5 minutes, Tennessee not only looked like they belonged, they looked like they were better. Like they looked like the better team. But then the last minute and a half of the first quarter, all the way through the end of the third quarter, it was not close. They did not look like they belong. South Carolina dominated. And then in the fourth quarter, things turned around again, and all of a sudden it looked like we're just as good as they are. You can't be Dr. Jekyll and I guess Mrs. Hyde in that situation, and expect to win consistently. Side note, if you miss, if you know, and I was going to say this, it's so on the thumbnail I put it's pretty simple. Well, here's why it's pretty simple in my book. You at least have to make some shots. like you can't just miss everything and expect to win. Um, if in the guys' game, it literally if they make one shot, they win the game. I mean, like it was that close. If they make one shot, maybe two, it's a different story. The women's game, if they make two shots, it's a different story. So you can't miss 90 something percent of your shots. I know it wasn't that high. It was close, but it wasn't that high. You can't miss that many and expect to win. You just can't, especially when you're playing some of the best teams in the country. So, I mean, it sounds oversimplistic, but I mean, that's legit the difference. Like you have to make some shots every once in a while. And it's not like they weren't all contested. Some were wide open and they just didn't make them.
Yeah. The women shot 30% from the field. So they missed 7 out of every 10 shots.
Not great. Not great. Let's see some of the comments coming through. Kevin, welcome, buddy. He said, "Hey, Vol Bros. Hey, fam. Thank you, the Ooltewah Club. Amen. Totally agree. Love the Ooltewah Club." Matt, welcome, buddy. There's another Chattanooga native. So, good evening, bros. Go Vols. Absolutely. Kevin said, basketball had a rough week. Yep, they did. Rhonda said, good evening, Vol Bros and chat family. Absolutely. We're glad you're here with us, Rhonda. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, what's up, Vol Bros in chat? Lady Vols need to start hitting layups consistently. Absolutely. Tony, welcome. Good to have you. He said, if we played South Carolina 20 times, I think they win them all. We might win one, talking about this year. I mean, kudos to South Carolina. They withstood our best shot there at the beginning, and then they turned it on. Kevin said, first, men and women both need a higher percentage shooting, but then to lose out on rebounding compounds the misses. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. Mississippi Vol said, good evening, Vol Bros family. Been a rough week for sure, but we're in this thing together. We'll get through it. Oh, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button, which, hey, I think that's a fantastic idea. Fantastic. Text a buddy about the Vol Bros. Kevin said, like and share. Totally agree. Text a buddy about the Vol Bros. I love that. Rhonda said, we started the season strong, and I'm hoping to end stronger. Hey, amen. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. Tony said, I know y'all will talk about men later, but I have no confidence in Gainey. I've never been high on him. I know they have other problems too. If I was starting a team, Zakai would be the only one I would take for sure. SEC football said Kentucky was without Lamont Butler and still won. Yep, they did. Because when the other team doesn't make any shots ever, then it's not difficult to beat them. And that's the thing. So, what Tony said there about Jordan Gainey. So here's my take on that. Jordan Gainey is probably our second best scoring option right now.
Yeah.
And, when you think about the Auburn game, I know we didn't hit shots in the Auburn game either, but listen, I was not expecting us to really even keep that game very close because you're going to the number one team in the country. We're already down JP Estrella and Cameron Carr. Igor Milicic had a strain or some calf injury he was dealing with. Jordan Gainey, I didn't even expect Jordan Gainey to play. Jordan Gainey wasn't even allowed near the team until they got to the arena. That's how sick he was. When they got to the airport, Jordan had to ride in a separate vehicle to the team hotel from the rest of the team because he was so sick. They were trying to keep him away from the team. So the fact that he went out and played as well as he did at Auburn was very impressive. I still think that Auburn game, at the end of that one, you have to call something. You have to. Zakai Ziegler intentionally fouled Janai Broome to stop the clock. And when they fouled him, Broom wasn't able to throw the pass, so he ends up traveling as a result of that foul. You have to call one of the two. You got to call either the guy who legit just hacked the guy on purpose, or with the guy who's playing hopscotch down the court because he can't get his balance because he got fouled for a travel. One of the two, call something, but you can't do nothing, which is exactly what the officials did. So, in my opinion, Tennessee should have had a chance there at the end with the ball back. But so I got no problems with that Auburn game, really. The Kentucky one is the one that hurts. Because, I mean, no joke, if they make 2 shots, that's it. Just make 2. You win the game. It was just 2 or 3 shots, totally different ball game. Unreal. Some of the other comments that came through. Sam said, with Coach Barnes' comments about Zakai, I'm not sure how much longer he's going to coach. Yeah, I guess time will tell for sure. SEC football said, this team doesn't scare you offensively. No, not at all. If I was the defense, I wouldn't even guard anyone from 3 except from Gainey. Mino Likey said, evening Vol Bros in chat. Good to have you, Mino Likey. Sam said, Shaq is going to have to start looking for a shot. Yeah, I mean, he's got to at least present a threat. Yeah. You're muted.
Yeah. I said, amen. I don't even care if he's looking for his shot per se, but we need 10 points a night out of him. And it can come from attacking the basket off the drive. It can come from a free throw line. It can come from offensive putbacks. But they have got to start running some more continuous motion action so that he has an opportunity to attack the basket and be a threat.
Like you said, I agree with the earlier assessment where suddenly key players aren't sure of where they need to be. Rhonda said, I thought someone was going to have to call 911 when Zakai went down. I'm very thankful he's okay, because that was weird. Clearly it scared him, because he ran straight to the locker room.
Yeah.
That clearly scared him. And when it happened in real time, I couldn't tell what had happened. Then they showed the replay, and I was like, "Oh goodness!" His right leg hyperextended so bad. He's really fortunate that he's okay. Kevin said, go ahead."
I think if you've ever hyperextended your knee, I've done it once. It's scary because it feels like you tore ligaments. And when you watch the replay, you can see his knee kind of shift and pop back. And that's typically what happens when you hyperextend it. And it feels weird for a while. Like you're not really positive it's okay. Like I say, I've done it once. It's extremely painful in the moment. After about 15, 20 minutes, it kind of goes back to normal. And if you watch Zakai, you could watch him through the second half. He progressively got faster. And I think that was him recognizing, okay, there's really nothing wrong. It was just a flex. It hyperextended. It's okay. I can push it.
Yep. Kevin said Dubar, Phillips, or Jemai all can score, but we don't have that go-to guy for the men. Zakai, Gainey, or maybe Lanier could be, but I can see Rustin's point about Chaz not being the guy at the end of the game. He certainly cannot create his own shot as well as other people on the team, and especially not as well as Dalton did last year.
I mean, honestly, if it were me, teams like to switch us on screens. If teams late in shot clock, if teams switch us, I'm screening Igor on everybody and seeing if I can get Igor on a smaller guard, and then immediately clearing out and letting him go post up. I don't understand why that's not every possession that gets late in the shot clock when teams are switching. It should be immediate. We're getting Igor the ball inside.
Yeah. I agree with you. Kevin said, I'd guard Zakai and Gainey. Either could have a hot hand when it's needed. SEC football said Meshack could look into a career in rugby instead. Mina Laggy said, I was disappointed at the lack of rebounds and nothing much in the paint. Yeah, for sure.
I will say that's probably the thing I've been most disappointed with the last couple of weeks. This coaching staff is smart. They know what needs to happen in order for this team to be successful. It concerns me greatly that we are either not comfortable with where they are developmentally, or we just aren't ever going to do it. The fact that we will not post up Akpara or Cade Phillips.
Which the one time they did do it and getting the ball, he made a nice move and scored.
But that wasn't a post up. That was a pin down. And so they will look for that. If they go screen a guy and get their defender all the way into the basket and then spin, it's called a pin down, then they will look for that. Like Zakai looks for that with Akpara, but I'm talking true post up where you're on the block, you've got a butt in the gut, and you're demanding the ball, and you're about to go make a strong move one-on-one. That is not a part of what we do. Like, it is completely absent, and they clearly don't want it. Like, they're not going to call it. And that's concerning.
Jonathan said he was terrified when Zakai went down, thought he might be out for the season. We're an injury or two away from having to have tryouts. it's accurate, actually. We are razor thin on depth right now. Razor thin. Especially with tournament time coming up soon. Kevin said yes to Igor. If he's feeling it, he could take over from a scoring perspective, but I don't feel like developing that has been a direction this team has taken. He had a great up and under the other night. So I guess let's do this. Before we do any more comments, let's give our takeaways. Mine I already said. You have you got to make the ball go through the basket a few times, at least. I mean, that's the bottom line. Their defense will keep them in every game because they play really good defense for the most part. I mean, they held. It was close to 80, but they held Kentucky under 80 points. But you just got to make some shots. I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, it's really that simple. Basketball is a game in which you put the ball through the hoop. And if you don't put the ball through the hoop, you lose. Like, it's really that simple. What were your takeaways from the game?
What if I told you before the game that we were going to outscore them in points off turnovers by 10? We were going to outscore them in second chance points by 12. We were going to outscore them in bench points by 9. We were going to outscore them in points in the paint. We were going to outscore them in fast break points. If I had told you that before the game, what do you think the final score is?
Probably about 84 to 70 or 72, maybe.
A very comfortable win.
Yeah.
But we canceled all that out by missing 34 threes.
Yep.
We beat them in almost every single hustle stat. And the ones we didn't beat them in, we tied. They did not win a single hustle stat on the entire night. And somehow we lost. And that is why I say it concerns me that, and honestly, I'm not very critical of Rick Barnes often. He's a legend. He knows what he's doing. But when he made the comment in the post-game press conference that they were going to let us shoot it, and so we shot it, or however he put it, okay, and you missed 34 of them. Like, at some point you have to go, dadgummit, attack the basket and get to the free throw line so that we can actually capitalize on all the hustle stats that we're winning. The free throw line where we shot 12 of 17, it's not awesome, but it's good enough. That's 71%.
As a team, that's a good percentage.
And, I would much rather it be a rock fight and we win by 5 because we're hitting free throws than lose because we missed 34 threes and cancel out winning every single hustle stat. Like that, I can't fathom that. And I can't fathom being on the sideline and watching it happen and let it continue. And that's why I say the whole post game situation that concerns me probably more than anything that happened. The fact that we would rather stand outside and miss 34 threes than attempt to pound the ball inside to somebody and get to the free throw line. That's really concerning.
Yeah, totally agree. Matt said Kentucky had way too many uncontested 3-pointers. Totally agree. Rhonda said if we can figure out what team we're going to be, we'll be dangerous at tournament time. I mean,
not if we can't find a way to score consistently.
I mean, that's the thing,
I'm genuinely concerned if we do not find a way, and if it's motion offense, everybody involved, 5 different guys scoring 10 a night, awesome, great. We'll win 62-50 every night. Love it. Do that. But if we're going to keep running this blocker mover system where only 2 or 3 guys are the first option for a shot and everybody else is a distant second, and if those 2 or 3 are off, then oh well, we just lose. That ain't gonna last long in March.
Yeah, totally fair. I mean, you think about the loss to Auburn and the loss to Kentucky. Well, they shot they didn't shoot it well at Vanderbilt, but they did shoot decently. The losses to Auburn and Kentucky, if you just make a couple shots, you win both games. I mean, they're such close games, and we missed so many shots in both of them. If you just make a couple, you win. So, I mean, they 100%, Rhonda, you're right. They can be very dangerous. They just got to start making shots. Kevin said, my feeling is Zakai trusts Felix a little more than the coaches might. Yeah. SEC football.
But even still, when have we ever seen Felix post up and the entire perimeter space out to where they can make sure he gets a legitimate look? Doesn't happen. They don't even look for it.
SEC football said, I watched the Arizona game. Toby Awaka is a beast. He had 17 and 12 that game. Yep. He's a good player. Matt said we have to attack the paint more successfully to have more open shots deep. Well, I mean, they were getting open shots against Kentucky. They just weren't making
finished that comment about Awaka by saying Tennessee really screwed that up. Tennessee didn't screw that up. Tobe Awaka made a choice, and he had an option to come back, and he listened to some bad advice and went somewhere else. So let's not pin that on Tennessee. That is 100% Tobe Awaka.
Jonathan said it frustrates me to watch the men just throw up threes and miss 30 of them a night. They should drive to the basket more to get more open threes. Yes, agreed. They are getting open threes, and that's what that's the comment Rustin was alluding to. Rick said we knew they were going to let us shoot threes, and we didn't want to let them shoot threes, and we didn't do either one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Like that, Kentucky's game plan,
let them shoot,
was to let us shoot, and they
pack it in, let them shoot.
So we have to learn.
Chaz is the only one they got a hand up on. It was get a hand up on Chaz. Everybody else, let them shoot.
So I mean, we have to start knocking down shots. We just have to, and if we're not, we have to take shots near the rim. You have to be strong with the ball, protect the ball, and make shots near the rim.
And the fastest way to get them to guard you, because they were switching screens and letting whoever guard anybody because they knew we weren't going inside. The fastest way to make them stop is post up Akpara or Cade or Igor on a smaller guard when they switch and just keep pounding it in there to them until they stop. But for some reason, we don't want to do that, and it drives me nuts.
Sam said, Kentucky had more open shots. We need more players on the court that present a scoring threat. Absolutely. I would say we need more than one player on the court
that
presents a scoring threat. We are not an offensive threat right now as a team. We're just not. Kevin said when we played UTC at the first of the season, Nico. Oh wait, that was the start of football season. I'd love to see this team get comfortable with side shooting again to open the floor. That was good, Kevin. I like that. Yeah, I mean, listen, Chaz's draft stock is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to turn. He's got to turn the corner. That's the bottom line. He has got to turn the corner. Minolaki and Sam both agreed with what you said at 9:22. I'm not sure what you were saying at that point, but I'm sure it was spot on.
It was when I was talking about the post game.
Tony said we missed 34 threes. What if 12 of those shots were inside shots and we made 5? Yeah, you win the game. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't just win, you win comfortably.
Yeah. Jonathan said I was critical of Dubar last week, but I think he played one of his best games of the year. I think that you saw the coaching staff acknowledge the fact that he is at least a potential scoring option by leaving him in the game as much as they did in the last 8 minutes of the game, because they needed to get back in it, and he was able to provide a scoring threat. Kevin said, I thought the guys looked more competitive against Auburn. 100%. He said, I didn't feel the same with the Kentucky game for some reason. Auburn came out and played perimeter. Yeah, I mean, they were right in both games, right? Like they were right there. You just make a couple shots and you win. It's really that simple.
Part of why I was more competitive against Auburn, though, is because they shot the ball as poorly as we did.
Yeah, that's right. Auburn couldn't make anything either. But here's the thing. It does not get any easier for the Vols or the Lady Vols moving forward. The next few games for the men, they play Florida at home this Saturday at noon, 12 o'clock. Next Wednesday, February 5th, they host Missouri. That's a good Missouri team. Then they go to Oklahoma on February 8th, next Saturday. And then they go to Rupp Arena, February 11th. And then Saturday, February 15th, they host Vanderbilt. So 1, 2, 3, 4, their next 5 games. I mean,
they're sitting at 17-4. Barring injury, I'm predicting they finish 24-7. I think they win 7 of their last 10. But I think there's definitely 3 losses in there.
When you look at the women's team, they have to go to Missouri this Sunday. That will not be an easy game. Then they host UConn next Thursday. Then they have to go to LSU. So their next 3 games are tough as well. Like this is, if you're not going to make shots, none of those are going to be good. I'm just saying. Like they got to make shots, or this could get ugly. I mean, just being totally honest, they got to start making some shots. Minolagi said we just need to play our game.
What is that?
So we need to play our game that includes making shots. That's the thing. We're doing a good job defensively, both teams. I mean, for real, both teams are playing well defensively, men and women. But you got to put the ball in the basket at some time.
I'm not typically very negative, but I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like the trajectory. If we're going to continue to run this blocker mover system, I don't see any kind of a postseason run. I think we get beat early.
I Bleed Orange, welcome. Good to have you. They said, do you guys think we're a good team or no? I'm guessing we're talking men's basketball. Yep. I mean, yeah, we're a good team. but good teams also make shots. They don't
Yep.
miss 34 threes in a game. So that was not a good performance by what I think is a good team.
I think we are the top defensive team in America. And I think we need to hang our hat on that and push the ball when we have opportunities, but otherwise walk it up and become a quick hitter team that runs either constant motion into a quick hitter late in the shot clock, or when you need a specific shot, you call an early quick hitter to get a ball a certain shot in a certain spot. And we need to start valuing every single possession. Because we cannot get into an up and down, fast paced game with people. We're just not capable of scoring like that.
Kevin said, Rustin, the lack of coaches designing plays for post-play offense frustrates me. It feels like the team is trying to make something happen, but they certainly don't seem to be helping post-play.
They're not even looking for it.
Yep, I agree.
I specifically, in the second half against Kentucky, I specifically watched for it. I wanted to see how many times someone posted up and demanded the ball. It happened 0 times the entire second half.
Sam said when I was talking about the upcoming schedule, he says it's life in the SEC, particularly this year. This is arguably the strongest the conference has literally ever been. So it's certainly a life in the SEC this year. Matt said, what's up with Chaz? Please explain. Disappointed in his effort out there. Got to find a way to get him open. So you've heard Rick Barnes talk about how Chaz has to be better about moving without the ball to get himself open. And here's what's unfortunate. Chaz has to do that because he has proven that when he does get the ball, he is not able to create his own space and shot. So the only way he's going to be open is if he's moving without the ball, setting up a man coming off a screen, that kind of thing. That's how he's going to get open. And obviously he's still struggling a little bit. And when you think back to last year, Dalton went through the same thing early in the month of January. He had 2 or 3 games there where he really struggled to hit as well, but he shot his way out of it. I sincerely hope, and surely this is what he's doing. I sincerely hope that Chaz is staying in the gym till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, watching shots go up so that he can see it going through the nets and he can shoot his way out of it. Because when he steps out on the court in the game, that's not the time to shoot your way out of it. That was one thing about Dalton Connect that everybody praised him for was nobody worked as hard as him. He was in the gym nonstop. And now it's paying off. I mean, he was named today to the NBA Rising Stars All-Star game. So, I mean, like, it's paying off literally as well, financially. And so, people say, well, how could you expect Chaz to stay in the gym till 10 or 11 o'clock at night? That is an investment he's making in his future, a monetary investment in his future. Because, like 3 weeks ago, he was being projected to be maybe like late 20s, early 30s, number pick in the draft. Well, I wonder what it is now. Because, I mean, teams are watching this and they're like, surely he's going to shoot his way out of this, right? And he hadn't yet. It's got to be in his head right now. That's all I can figure. Because it's one thing if you're shooting and it's like, in and out, that kind of stuff. I mean, when you take a shot, if it goes in and out, please take another shot next time down the court. Because for a ball to go in and out, that means you're missing it by literally millimeters. And so if that's the case, that's one thing. But that's not how he's missing. He's taking shots that aren't barely even hitting the rim. I mean, like he took one the other day that went over the rim and hit the side, the bottom part of the backboard on the other side of the rim. That ain't good. So that's what's concerning about Chaz. Hopefully he's in the gym as we speak right now, taking shots.
There's a big difference between a shooter and a scorer. Dalton Knecht was a scorer. Dalton Knecht could miss 5 shots in a row, and dadgummit, the 6th one's going in, because that was his personality. He was going to find a way to create and get to the basket, get a free throw, see a ball go in, and then he'd rattle off 6 or 7 straight. Chaz is a shooter. He wants to play within a system. He wants to take shots when he's open. He wants to be a spot shooter where he can stand in the corner and they can penetrate and kick and get him an open look. He's not Dalton Knecht. And Tennessee probably did him a disservice talking him up in the preseason like he was going to be Dalton Knecht. He ain't him. He has a completely different personality. Dalton Knecht led the Lakers in scoring again last night, dropped 24. Okay. That's a different animal. It's a whole different personality. Now, I think
Generational type player.
Yeah, I think Chaz actually will have a long career in the NBA because they don't double team anybody and they don't play defense. So he can go stand in the corner and spot up, and good point guards will penetrate and kick and get him open. And he can hit 2 or 3, maybe 4 threes a night and have a role in the NBA for some team that needs a spot shooter. And he'll be very good at it, and he'll stick for a long time because nobody plays any defense. But he's not Dalton Knecht, and he's not going to become Dalton Knecht. And everybody needs to just wrap their right minds around that. And that's why I say we need Jemai to get 10 points a night. We need Igor to get 10 points a night. And then we need some combination of Okpara, Gainey, Ziegler, and Chaz, 2 or 3 of them to get 10 points a night, so that we know we're going to break at least 60 and we'll have a chance. But if we're relying on 3 guys to do all the scoring and everybody else is confused about how they fit in, it's almost February. It's not good that we got guys on the court who still don't know where they fit and what their role is. I don't know. It screams early postseason exit.
Oriole Puppy Dog said our guys can't hit a barn with a shotgun. He said defense looks pretty good though. Yeah, I agree totally. Jonathan said it might not help, but the men may need to look at changing the starting lineup some to see if it helps the offense any. Might as well at this point. Hey, can you shoot the ball and make it go through the hoop? All right, get in the game. I think that's why Dubar was in there so long at the end of the game.
Problem is, if you're just going to keep running a blocker mover system, you're just changing out pieces. Like, you're not changing the value of what's on the court. You're just switching out bodies. They've got to change what's happening on the court. They've got to change their philosophy around how they run offense, because what they're doing is not working.
Greg said, what do you think Rick Barnes' message to the team is at this point?
His message never changes. He's said the same thing for years, all season long, and that is stay the course, do what we do. Things will fall into place. Just keep playing hard. Good things will happen. And you can win 70% of your games if you've got, great effort and guys who are willing to go out there and scrap. The problem is once you get into round of 32, Sweet 16, it's win or go home. And you can't just stay the course, and you can't just ride out what you do. Like, you've got to bring a little something extra, and somebody's got to rise up and be a dude. And I don't think we have that guy.
Sam said Chaz is a good set shooter, but I'm not seeing him as someone who can create his own shot. Yeah, agreed totally. We saw that at the end of the Vanderbilt game. I mean, he had the guy beat down the lane for the game-winning layup or game-tying layup, and he didn't protect the ball the way he should with his body, and just left it out, for him to unprotected, and the guy blocked a shot. That's the difference between North Florida and the SEC.
Yep.
I Bleed Orange said, it's okay, guys. My GOAT, Tony Vitello, will carry the university and win back-to-back national championships. I mean, legit, he might. I mean, it's incredibly difficult to do, but they certainly have the ability to do it.
Everybody in the country should be terrified that Tony Vitello yesterday said Brandon Arvidsson, who is the JUCO transfer pitcher they got, who supposedly was pretty good coming out of JUCO, and they thought he had some talent, but they weren't totally positive how good he was. Yesterday, Tony Vitello said he has been one of the best pitchers they've had, and he loves the ball in pressure situations, and they're trying to figure out where to put him in because he could fulfill so many different roles for them. That should terrify everyone because that pitching staff was already good. When you've got a head coach who doesn't blow smoke, who's sitting there saying, we got a dude that's even better than we thought, and we can't figure out where to put him because he can do so many different things. That's legit.
Kevin said he hadn't thought about that practice time that we heard so much about with Dalton last year. We haven't heard it about Chaz yet this year. Nobody said the stuff. Doesn't mean he's not doing it, but I hope he is. You know, Mina Lackey agreed with that too. Matt said, "Where's Dubar in this whole thing?" I think the reason that Dubar has not been on the floor more is because he's so inconsistent when he plays. They know he can score, and that's why he was in the game so much at the end of the game against Kentucky. He has to prove that he's going to make good decisions with the ball and be consistent in his level of play. I think that's why he's got to.
But I'm with Matt. He's only going to be on campus for one more month.
Right.
He's a fifth-year senior. He's gone.
Yeah, he has no eligibility left after this.
You got to roll that dude out there and let him go.
Yeah. Sam said, agree with Rustin. We need an offensive strategy change. Oreo Puppy Dog said, Ziegler been looking good. I was afraid he really got hurt against Kentucky. I think everybody in that building was terrified again. Tony said, I would like to see them utilize Igor better. We'd like him taking the ball to the rim and posting up some. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Like Rustin said, the guy's a mismatch nightmare. And so use him. If teams are going to switch on screens, use him at the top of the key. And then you've got him on the other team's point guard. So take him, to the basket, let him post up. And then he's got to be strong. Igor has a bad problem and tendency of bringing the ball down when he gets, down low with it. He's got to keep the ball up high, be strong with it, and go up and score. Let's see. Matt said that our offense is looking predictable and repetitive, for sure.
Yep.
Jonathan said, is basketball better to have scripted plays or just let the players on the court run whatever they feel would work, or a combination of both?
Got to have both. If you look across the country, every top 10 program has a mixture of both. You've got to have a free-flowing motion system where people can use their strengths and play to their strengths. But then you also have to have moments where it's like, okay, this guy's got to get a shot in this spot right now. So we're going to run this quick hitter to get this dude the ball at this location. Got to have both.
Yep. Tennessee, and this is what's been interesting this season, honestly, the most interesting development, in my opinion, this season. The last 2 to 3 years, especially, Tennessee has been known for their success in out of bounds, underneath their own basket set plays. That has been their calling card. They've scored so many times off of alley-oops, wide open shots. That has been the thing that Tennessee has excelled at more than anything on the court over the past really 3 seasons. That's gone. What have other teams just figured it out, and we don't have the ability to set a screen and go get open anymore? Like what's going on? That's been the biggest shock to me from this team is we're just trying to get the ball in bounds now. Like we're not running plays out of bounds to get alley-oops and stuff like that. That's been the most interesting thing to me. But our calling card is gone.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dykes, he talked about it at the very beginning of the first game he called this year. He was like, Tennessee's so good with out of bounds plays, underneath their goal, and we just don't do it anymore. Sam said it's a problem if you lose to Vanderbilt. They aren't going to do anything in the postseason. Disagree, and you must dominate this level of an opponent. Vanderbilt is actually a very good basketball team. You will see Vanderbilt make it at least to the round of 32, maybe beyond. I was talking with a guy today at work. We're talking about, the team who wins the SEC regular season title very well could have 3 or 4 losses. I mean, that's very possible. The team who wins.
Go ahead.
The team who wins the SEC tournament, that might be a 7 or 8 loss team.
Yeah.
Because if they get hot for 1 week, there you go. They're the tournament champions.
Yeah.
So Vanderbilt very well could do that. They're a good team. They were ranked in the top 25, I think, last week. Like that, they're legitimately good team.
Yeah, Mark Byington is an excellent coach. Made his money at James Madison, turned them into a power. Leveraged that to get the Vanderbilt job. Went out and recruited a bunch of dudes out of the portal that fit how he wants to play, and they are doing they are ahead of schedule. They are doing extremely well for a bunch of dudes that just got together out of the portal. When Mark Byington has 1 or 2 recruiting classes of the guys he wants, along with the guys he's getting out of the portal, Vanderbilt's going to be a major player in the conference like they used to be again. Mark Byington is an excellent coach, and he will win big.
I mean, right now, I'm looking up. I was trying to find their record. They've only lost like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, they're a definite NCAA tournament team. They'll get an automatic or at-large bid.
Yeah, they're 16-4 overall right now.
Mm-hmm. I think the other night when they were showing bracketology, they had them as like a 6 or a 7 seed. I mean, they're legit.
We were talking about who Tennessee has coming up on their schedule. Okay, so they've got Florida coming up. They're 18-2. They got Missouri coming up. They're 16-4. They got Kentucky coming up. They're 15-5. They got Vanderbilt coming up. They're 16-4. So Vanderbilt has a better record than Kentucky right now.
Oh yeah.
They've got Oklahoma coming up. They're 15-5. And then they've got Texas A&M after Oklahoma. After Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Texas A&M is 16-5. Every team they play is legit good. So I mean, like, there is no night off. That's not a thing.
It's like we talked about the other night. I mean, this is going to be the year that the SEC is going to get 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. No conference has ever done that. And and it's not 13, a couple slipped in the back door. It's 13 all with decent seeds. And it's just incredible. There's no let up any night in this conference. And that's why it's so important that you win at home. Like you cannot lose at home in this conference.
Okay, prime example for what you just said. Last place in the conference right now, South Carolina. They're 0-8 in conference. They've almost beaten Auburn, a couple other teams. They're 0-8. They're 10-11 overall, which means out of conference they were 10-3.
Yeah.
All of their losses have been in conference. It's just a crazy year. It's a crazy.
They should have beaten Auburn. They should have beaten Mississippi State. They're going to sneak up and beat somebody they shouldn't here pretty soon.
Oh yeah. I believe Orange said, do you guys cover Tennessee baseball or no, man? We do it all. All like Kevin said, all the orange sports. Absolutely.
Baseball, softball, all the spring stuff's about to get going.
Yeah, last year we were talking about the diving team, the rowing team,
Volleyball.
volleyball. We do it all, man. It's fun stuff. Vols Titans 8 said Barnes offensively is the issue. His pace is too slow. Other than last year when DK would push with or without the ball, Barnes has players on pins and needles offensively.
He actually, early in the season, he was having them push the ball hard, which I disagree with. They don't have the depth. They can't fly up and down the floor. The other night he had them walking it up because they were basically playing with 6 healthy players. You know, so there wasn't. He was trying to conserve as much energy as possible because they weren't okay. But if you're going to walk it up and if you are going to slow it down, you've got to be able to pound the ball inside, which is his next comment there. And you've got to have a good continuity motion offense that allows multiple players the opportunity to be a threat.
Jonathan said, I saw something about Cam Carr trying to join Baylor's team this season. I didn't think you were allowed to do that. Well, he wasn't.
He walked
You're
on.
exactly right.
He can walk on. He has to pay his own way this semester. He missed the portal window, so he can enroll as a student and he can walk on. And if he pays his way, he can play. So that's what he's doing, and he'll get a scholarship for the fall.
Greg said, I think they come out with a chip on their shoulder Saturday against Florida.
I just hope they're
totally
healthy.
agree. Yeah.
I don't care if they play for revenge. I just hope they're healthy. Like we need some days off. I almost wonder if Rick's pushing them too hard, and maybe we need to back off a little bit and let them get some health. I mean, they got to get healthy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, they're only got really 9 guys deep. So you got to have those 8 or 9.
It's 8. Bishop Boswell
ready.
ain't helping anybody. It's 8.
Yeah. Yep. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Obviously a huge weekend ahead for Tennessee basketball. Baseball does, throw their first pitch 2 weeks from tomorrow. So that's exciting. That's coming up real quick. Opening day against Hofstra on Valentine's Day. So that'll be fun to talk about.
No better way to say I love you than a baseball game in the freezing cold against Hofstra.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah, Sam made a good point. He said, pay your own way while you're being paid how much NIL. Baylor paying that bill for Cam.
Potentially.
You're exactly right. Greg said, listen to Sunday night's great show. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. He said, my honorable mention plays of the year. At Oklahoma, we turned the ball over twice and our defense got the ball back on the very next play both times.
True.
That is a great one. Yeah. That is a fantastic point. Yes. I should have had that. You're right. That's a great one. Rhonda said, do you think Boswell will leave? I don't.
No, for 2 reasons. Number one, he's a Rick Barnes guy. He loves Coach Barnes. He came to play for Coach Barnes. He's getting some run as a freshman, and he's looking around the locker room, and he knows half this roster is going to be gone. And so he's like, I got an opportunity to get major minutes next year. Even if they go out and find a bunch of dudes in the portal, they have significant depth issues, and it's only going to get worse. So
to Rustin's point there, you think about who all's leaving after this year. Zakai, Dubar, Igor, Chaz, Jemai Mashak.
That's it.
That's 5 of your 8 players other than
Igor could petition for 1 more year. He technically, I don't believe he ever used his COVID year, so he could technically come back. But they haven't been saying he is, so I doubt it.
So I mean, if they're really 8 deep right now, 5 of the 8 are gone.
All the guards. Bishop Boswell is the only returning guard.
Yeah. Jordan Gainey, I think, has 1 year left.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe not. I could be wrong on that.
No, that's right. He has 1 more year.
So, I mean, if you're Bishop Boswell, you're like, I got it made in the shade, you know?
Yeah. He may start by default.
Yeah. Because everybody else is leaving. It's the 3 guys returning are Boswell, Felix Okpara,
There's 4.
Jordan Gainey,
And Cade Phillips.
and Cade Phillips, yeah.
And they'll get JP Estrella
back.
Get Estrella back.
So that's only 5 dudes.
Right. So they're going to have, I think they've signed 3. So that brings up to 8. So they'll probably go get 4 guys in the portal so they can get back to 12.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mina, like he said, now I'm really depressed. I'm sorry. That's our fault. I'm sorry. I believe Orange said, great show, guys. Just join and subscribe. Hey, we appreciate that very much. Thank you. Text a buddy. Tell him about us. Eric said, good show, Vol Bros. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. He said, keep them coming. We're planning on it. He said, go Big Orange. Absolutely. Jonathan said, I think Boswell will be a good player, but he looks like he's playing banged up as well right now. He is, for sure.
He's got he's got that same shoulder strap on that Cade Phillips has, and Cade's wearing it because he dislocated his shoulder. So either Bishop dislocated it also at some point, or he's got some kind of nerve damage that they're trying to protect. Yeah, you don't ever want to see people show up in that shoulder strap.
Yeah, and I think Bishop's still adjusting to the SEC. I think he's still adjusting to this level of play.
Yep.
I mean, like you said, I feel like a unicorn golf club cover without a name. Nice. Wait a second. Look at her look at her profile photo. That is awesome. I didn't notice that. Has it been like that all night?
I think so. This is why I said it has to be on every cart cam. It just needs to keep showing up.
So for people who don't know what we're talking about right now, I did our title sponsor, the Uldawal Club. We do a thing with them. I try to do like once every 1 or 2 weeks, and we call it Cart Cam, and it's us talking with somebody in the golf cart while we're driving around playing. We record it, and so I did a Cart Cam episode with my daughter. My daughter's golf club. She has the unicorn that you see in Mina Likey's profile photo. This is a screen capture of our Cart Cam episode, and the unicorn. So the unicorn, Audrey has named it Sadie. That's the name of the unicorn. But it was hilarious. We didn't even think about it when we were recording it. But I go back to watch it, and the unicorn is like right here behind our shoulders, in between us, facing and like looking at the camera the whole video. It's hilarious looking. And so then when we recorded one with Rustin was like, bring the unicorn. He put it on one of his clubs so that it could make an appearance in the video. So just so everybody knows, you can be looking for this. Tomorrow, I'm hoping tomorrow, it may be Sunday or Saturday. I mean, it won't be any later than Saturday, but I've got another episode that I filmed with my wife that we'll be releasing hopefully tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to work on it tonight and tomorrow morning. So that's coming. And we actually took Sadie the unicorn with us to be in that one too. And then we forgot to like put it where it could be seen. So we dropped the ball there, but it was actually in the cart the whole time. It was sitting in the basket on the back of the cart. And that was my fault. I didn't get it up on a club or anything. So, but Sadie was in that one too. But that cracks me up. But yeah, be looking for that tomorrow or Saturday, the next episode of Cart Cam. It was really good. It was a lot of fun talking to my wife as we drove around. Sam said, another great show. Hey, I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you so much, man. Rhonda said, I'm excited for y'all's baseball shows coming up. That's when I started watching you guys last year. Oh, how cool, man. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rhonda. I Bleed Orange said, who is better at golfing? I guess it depends on what day it is.
It's typically him.
But when we did our cart cam episode, it was not. I was struggling that day. I was struggling. At one point in the video, I literally said, Rustin, you are playing substantially better than me right now. It was not a good day for me that day. Let's see. Matt asked, has Cam Carr moved yet, or is he still in Knoxville?
He's at Baylor.
Jonathan said, with a new extra year for everybody, can that give a chance for any of the men's players to come back next year?
No, that extra year is based solely right now. Now they're going to change this rule here in the next year or so. But right now, that extra year is based solely on JUCO and doesn't apply to anybody on Tennessee's roster.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fifth-year guys right now, a whole bunch of them. Like he said, it was great. Every time Evan hit a bump, Sadie glares at the camera. And she said, Sadie was there with you and Rusty. Yep, she was. She was on Rustin's golf clubs so that you could see right over his shoulder. So if you go back and check that one out, she's in that one. Greg said, Unicorn says hit like and subscribe. I think that's a great idea. Actually, yes. I need to make some motion graphic that I can put across the screen that has a unicorn saying like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. That would be so good. Well, this has been a lot of fun, y'all. We love this every Thursday and Sunday. It's so much fun. We're always here Thursday and Sunday nights, 9:00 Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And so we got 275 people watching across all three platforms right now. So we appreciate you all so much. We invite you back Sunday night. Obviously we'll have 2 more games to talk about Sunday night. The men play noon on Saturday, hosting Florida, and the women go to Missouri at 3:00 Sunday afternoon. So we'll have 2 more games to talk about Sunday night. Rhonda said, great show. Thank you, Rhonda, so much. I appreciate that. So we hope all of you have a great evening. Hope you have a great weekend ahead of you as well. I'll be looking for the next Cart Cam episode coming out. I'm thinking it's going to be tomorrow afternoon because I was going to go play golf, but it's raining tomorrow here, so I can't. So I'll be sitting inside working on that. So hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. Great weekend ahead of you. Go Vols, and we'll see you all Sunday night at 9:00. Have a great evening, everybody.